Man, do I love the smell of crypto in the morning. We got a great one lined up for you today. We're going to hear clips from Elizabeth Warren from yesterday's testimony with Gary Gensler on Capitol Hill. We're going to hear from crypto law John Deaton and his team. And we're going to hear, look, we got a lot to look at here. And the real deal is that the SEC is trying to block an in-camera review. And we have a ton of other evidence we need to show you about Ethereum's pass, the free pass, and how they've gotten a head start over the other market, the rest of the market, and Ripple included. Let's go ahead and roll that beautiful intro.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove and everything that we're talking about here today. Big shout out and credit to Lithium Larry for a lot of this information that we're going to look at today on Ethereum and their past, and about how the head start, the Ethereum free pass, has given them an absolute head start amongst the rest of the industry. And I tell you, you're going to see some massive evidence to that. And I believe there needs to be a lot more questions asked, and because we don't have nearly enough answers. Let's go ahead and take a look at the market really quickly. 2.144 trillion for the cryptocurrency market cap this morning. We're up 2.95% right now. Now, look, money's coming back into the space. We know 2.5 plus trillion is where our all-time high is for cryptocurrency market cap. Collectively, we'll keep an eye on it. Right now, 47,000 plus for Bitcoin, 3,400 plus for Ethereum. Cardano is at 249. XRP is at $1.09 at that back test support line. We'll keep an eye on that as we move through the day. Looking right here, the range of XRP is the low end is at 105.92, the upper end at 109.92. So we're not far from dancing around the upper range. We will keep an eye on it, as we said. Let's start right here. Again, shout out to Larry Lithium and the information that he had sent me, and I've been sifting through so much of it and continue to do so. And we start right here, and really it appears that the SEC obviously gave Ethereum a free pass, and it has provided an unfair head start while holding the rest of the industry down, including Ripple, with regulation through litigation, picking winners and losers. Now, I'm going to play you some clips that you might have seen, and I'm going to play you some that I know you haven't seen. So make sure you watch this, and then we're going to move on very quickly to Elizabeth Warren and her comments yesterday with Gary Gensler that are going to highlight another truth about Ethereum. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
So we will have a fundraiser for 2 months starting February 1st. It will be available at funds.ethereum.org. So the idea is that part of the initial issuance will be 1,000 Ether for 1 Bitcoin, or up to 2,000 Ether for 1 Bitcoin if you get in early to compensate for the increased risk.
And the SEC launched a massive crackdown on everything blockchain, crypto oriented. There's going to be a lot of cases coming out of here. But here's what we understand, which is interesting. This self-regulatory agency could be put through, and I think this is the biggest effort yet, where they have major white shoe law firms they've hired, something known as the Brooklyn Project.
You mentioned Ethereum as well, and so is the takeaway that these are not securities then?
Right. I think the takeaway and maybe the news is more on the Ether side. Mm-hmm. We see a highly decentralized network, and we don't see a central third party where folks are saying, oh, if that person does these things, this will be giving me an investment return. So what we're trying to say is we don't see a lot of value in treating Ether today as a security.
Now, what's interesting about that is they don't see a lot of value in treating Ether as a security, where they overlooked the entire fundraise, the initial coin offering that they did that you saw at the front of this video. Keep watching, though, and watch how that Ethereum free pass has really provided the ability for Ethereum to take off with tons of ICOs launched off of its network and the ties that may be to them. Listen. So the SEC charges Ripple and 2 executives with conducting $1.3 billion worth of unregistered securities offerings, while Ether gets a free pass. Coinbase shares fall after it reveals the SEC plans to sue over interest-earning product launching a Coinbase Lend DeFi platform. However, in let us not forget very quickly, Aave is a lending platform launched off of Ethereum, and for some reason, it gets a free pass too, but not Coinbase. 2019, we see Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin criticized for allegedly advising 13 ICOs. Here is a quick list from BitMEX research that shows a list of companies of ICOs that Vitalik Buterin was either advising or backing. Here's a graph that illustrates Vitalik Buterin was involved in more ICOs than some of the biggest investment banks in the world. It appears the negative implications could be that it's not feasible for any one individual to be involved in this many ICOs, and this indication of misleading marketing, bad practice, or inadequate disclosure. As I said, there are more questions now than ever before. Now, I'm not suggesting that it's clear. I think it's clear that Ethereum got a free pass. I think it's absolutely clear that the SEC decided to overlook the initial coin offering fundraise, 1 Bitcoin for 1,000 Ethereum, or the other scale that it was. You know, I mean, that to me is quite damning on how the SEC can answer to that statement, which they've yet to do so. And before we get out of here today, we're going to take a look at some other information in the letter from the SEC to the judge to try and block in-camera review that documents that the judge has requested. We're going to get into that in just a second. But before we do, let's take a listen here. And by the way, this is what you call teeing one up for your buddy. Okay, make no mistake about it. Elizabeth Warren talked with Gary Gensler before this. And in fact, let me just give you the little look she's got on her face really quickly before she answers. Let's see if we can catch it.
Never went to college and raised 5 kids.
Yeah, and that's the story of the American dream. One of the things I hope that we protect is the notion that the American dream is accessible for all Americans. And when we have within the administration parts of the puzzle that could make it worse for the average person in our nation, I think we should pause and take a serious look at how the market works and how can we make it better.
Well, you can start by making it better by going ahead and calling out Ethereum and holding everybody accountable that gave them a free pass while the rest of the market is still to this day getting punished. Let's listen.
Thanks, Senator Scott. Senator Warren from Massachusetts is recognized.
Boy, look at the smile on her face. She knows she's getting ready to run a zinger right across the bow here. Take a look.
So thank you,
yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
We hear a lot about how crypto is all about financial inclusion, a way for people who don't have a lot of money to be able to manage it or invest it. Now, the banks have done a pretty lousy job on financial inclusion, so I want to test out with you whether or not crypto is an improvement. Last Tuesday, the crypto market tanked once again. The prices of Bitcoin and Ether each fell by about 10%, while a bunch of other tokens failed by as much as a third. So in a matter of hours, $400 billion in market value disappeared. Poof, just gone. And meanwhile, several of the biggest crypto exchanges had outages, which kept customers from making withdrawals or trades. So how did that affect people who don't have a lot of money to lose? Chair Gensler, let's say that last Monday, I took out the last sliver of my savings. I went on the crypto exchange Coinbase. I bought $100 worth of Ether. Then I woke up early on Tuesday morning. I saw that the market looked like it was beginning to tank, and I thought, I better sell right now.
Well, let's talk about that. So first of all, what she's doing to set this up, and obviously they're teeing this up. They went over these. I'm going to ask you this and then let you do your question. And I'm going to softball you this and let you knock this out of the park too, to make the point that the SEC should be controlling everything, right? Okay. And to a degree, I see that the exchanges probably need, obviously the exchanges certainly need oversight. There is no question about that. But the interesting thing is in order to make her point, she makes each one of us as retail investors look like idiots. that you would put $100 in, market goes down to $80 and you immediately want to sell and get out. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people that do that. But at the same time, I think people understand that with investing, you're going to see ups and downs in the market. Things don't move parabolic. So in order to make her point, we all got to be the idiot in this conversation. Keep listening.
But when I tried to sell, Coinbase, the exchange, was down. So, Chair Gensler, was there anything I could do to get my money out?
Not at a federal agency because they haven't yet registered with us, even though they have dozens of tokens that may be securities.
Yeah. Okay. So that's...
Oh, there's the first softball. Dozens of tokens that may be securities. Well, maybe. Why is it maybe? You're the guy who's actually supposed to say they are or aren't.
Sounds pretty risky to me. But let's say that instead of buying Ether on Coinbase last Monday, I decided instead to put that $100 toward buying a cool new token, let's call it NewCoin, that was being hyped on Twitter. Now, NewCoin is available only on a quote-unquote decentralized crypto exchange. So to buy it, I had to pay a fee, about $20, to the crypto miners who process the transactions. That's $20 to buy $100 worth of tokens. But I figured that was okay because Twitter told me that NewCoin was going to make me a lot of money.
See, the retail investor didn't do their own research. They're just going off of what they saw in some random thread on crypto Twitter.
Then, of course, I woke up on Tuesday morning and the market was tanking. So let's ask about this one. Chair Gensler, on Tuesday, when I wanted to sell NewCoin and get back to dollars fast, that exchange had not shut down. But remember, I had to pay $20 on Monday to get into decentralized finance. So how much would I have had to pay to get out of DeFi on Tuesday to sell my coins? Would I have had to pay a second $20 fee, or might I have had to pay even more?
I don't know because it'd be all in the user agreement. And by the way, you put quotes around DeFi. I think that's helpful because they're really decentralized in name only. There's a user agreement. There's something you're doing with this platform. There's a governance token. There's usually some fees, but I don't know what the particular fees would be.
Well, actually, we do know some of the fees from last Tuesday. The fee to swap between two crypto tokens on the Ethereum network was more than $500.
Oh, let's stop right there for a second. So the Ethereum network, which got a free pass on its initial coin offering from the Securities Exchange Commission, which still upholds that action to this day under Gary Gensler's tenure, really admits right here that $500 in gas fees on a decentralized platform is supposed to be the answer to the new internet. This is the leader to the fourth industrial revolution of the new payment work and the new world we're moving into. I don't hardly think so. But you know what? A few more seconds of this nonsense and we'll move on.
Obviously, way more than the $100 I was trying to trade in the first place. So the question I have is, in the face of these high, unpredictable fees, small investors could easily get jammed and wiped out entirely.
Especially when you use her method to investing, which is you only buy when the price is going up.
Chair Gensler, advocates say crypto markets are all about financial inclusion, but the people who are most economically vulnerable are the ones who are most likely to have to withdraw their money the fastest when the market drops. Does this sound like the path to financial inclusion to you?
It's a highly speculative asset class. It doesn't sound like the path that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there it is. And Buddy 1 and Buddy 2 successfully tee up their talking points that they wanted to make and make us all look like dumb idiots in the process. The condescending arrogance of these people is absolutely vomit-worthy. There's no question about it. Now let's move on, because this guy has caught the sniff and the smell of something on the trail. It's Charles Gasparino from Fox Business News. And he says, as I do my reporting on the Ripple case and the SEC definition of what is or isn't a security, I find that Gary Gensler, at least according to past statements, is even more draconian than Jay Clayton. He suggests Ethereum is a security. Try putting that one back in the bottle. Yeah, I mean, first of all, shout out to Charles for even picking up on this trail and looking into this and continuing to dig. I cannot wait to see him get full on into this thing and ripping it open. Because look, I mean, there is so much to be concerned about. Think about the Ethereum free pass. I went over this in a video on Twitter and you saw it, and I played it for you here when the start of the video. But 13 other ICOs just launched since. This was from 2019. Now you think about that. Now think about the money raised from just some of these, right? Look, 31.2 million. And I'm just pulling some of these up here. 24 million, 25 million, 32 million. I mean, you know, these things are really, really about getting Ethereum network in place and having a head start. But the problem is, as Elizabeth Warren pointed out in her little softball session here, that Ethereum's charging $500 for gas fees. Yeah. So this whole free pass, hooking buddies up and getting this network really the clarification it needs, and it still doesn't work. It's still not a solution for the future. How about that one? How about that one? Now let's change gears really quickly here, because the SEC is working and got many hands at work here. And one of the hands is now working to send a letter to Judge Netburn accompanying documents for in-camera review, really trying to block some of the actual documents that are being looked at or were requested to be looked at, claiming DPP, which is deliberative process privilege. Now, what I want to do here is quickly move through these because there's just really highlights here. And let me go to page 6 for starters. All right, page 6 right here. Here we go, page 6. So we come down here on page 6 and we see part E. If we just come here really quickly, and look, there's more stuff that I'm probably overlooking as well, just to move through this and to show you what's happening. So Valerie Suspanic, handwritten notes from 2017 in December, meeting with Joe Lubin of Consensus, one of the co-founders of Ethereum, in which she gathered information to inform deliberations on whether, and then it's blocked out here, right? Let me tell you, you know, there's a lot in this document that is quite troubling, even what we can see. Let me go to page 7 here. So they're conferring with really the other competing company, Ethereum, on to deliberate not only about what Ethereum is, but what other tokens of the markets are as well. Check this out. Page 7, we have 2 meetings that went on here. And if I could find it, yep, from 2 meetings here with representatives from Consensus and SEC staff, and June 8th, 2018, just days before the Hinman letter. Oddly enough, that's blacked out, right? And then we come here to part K, where we see again from 2016 meeting with Joseph Lubin, discuss Ethereum and certain digital assets. Ethereum and certain digital assets? Well, doesn't that make you wonder? Andrew Keys is one of the other founders here, and as digital asset investor asked so greatly yesterday, I believe it was, Andrew Keys said in December 24, 2020, XRP is a security, and that was right after the filing of the lawsuit. So one has to answer, was Andrew Keys one of the people that was consulted like Joseph Lubin during all of these deliberations about Ethereum and other certain digital assets? And is that how the SEC derived that XRP is in fact a security by their standards as well from a competitor? This brings even more questions that need to be answered, because now we're wondering, was the One River move after they leave office at the SEC from Clayton and William Hinman just a move, an arbitrary move, or was it more calculated? I mean, these things are starting to add up to where you have to ask the question. If we come down the discussion here, handwritten notes from August 2018, representatives of the CME Group, derivatives market, to discuss XRP. Let's go to page 8 really quickly here, and it says Part O, handwritten notes from September 2018 meeting with Ripple representatives, including defendant Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple's present counsel Andrew Seresny, regarding SEC staff investigation of Ripple at that time. So then they were aware they were being investigated and looked at, but probably not sure they were being sued at that point. Then here reflects handwritten notes August 2019 meeting with Commissioner Peirce and SBI Holdings, a Ripple shareholder, that included a discussion of regulatory status of digital assets, including XRP, SBI being out of Japan. It blocks out those sentences there and what was discussed there. And then it makes the argument here at the bottom of the page that, look, we don't have to show Ripple what we talked about, or you. Ripple could just simply discuss with SBI and they could fill them in on what we discussed. That's how they handle it, right? I hope the judge really pulls this stuff out and doesn't go for any of this and says, you know what, we're showing it all. Looking right here, it says office provides legal advice to staff, and it says SEC staff members, including enforcement attorney, then investigating Ripple's XRP transacting, current litigating this action, counsel of record Daphne Waxman, and has here more blocked out stuff about draft of legal analysis of XRP, preliminary legal analysis of XRP. But let's move here. Just a couple other spots that I want to get to, and again, I'm skipping over other things as well as we move through this, just for the sake of time here, because I just want to get these last couple things in so you see them. Let me move to 22. All right, so this is an entry chart here, summary chart of documents submitted by the SEC for in-camera review. And you come down here, and this is 22, right? So entry E, it shows again meeting with consensus here, deliberations, right? It come down here to 23. We see on F, it is here, Christian Catalini, who is now over at Diem, right? And Christian Catalini is the guy that said the Diem project with Facebook is actually a placeholder token for the actual digital dollar once it is ready to go. So then we see on J, we see another meeting here with Consensus, which is Andrew Keys and Joseph Lubin, headed by them. We see another meeting on K with them and J as well. And then we have here on 24, let's see, we have, I believe it's an entry here that I wanted to highlight. Where is that? Let me find it here really quickly here. And there's a line. Where is that? I want to show this because there is a line here. Page 25. Let me go to page 25. And forgive me for the pause. There's a lot of sorting through all these documents here. Line 7, documents produced, not submitted for in-camera review, right? Oh, interesting. You know, like number 9, the actual drafting and attaching a draft of the Hinman speech. And again, 63 drafts of that particular speech, 63 different emails of the draft of that speech. Who had access to that? Who helped and put their eyeballs on that? I have a very, very strong feeling at this point Joseph Lubin and Andrew Keys absolutely had their eyeballs on it. And I have to say, a major question here now is like, where does the SEC have good footing to suggest that they were talking to a competitor of someone like Ripple and the XRP ledger, knowing that it has better transaction time, more scalability, more secure? Not my opinion. These are facts. And yet they're advising the SEC that, oh, this is probably not good. At least that's what it appears, right? At least that's what it appears. So at the end of the day, this is where we are. There are more questions than we have answers, ladies and gentlemen. I can tell you that much for sure. And where this stops, nobody knows. But I tell you what, shout out to Charles Gasparino for picking this up and starting to really dig into this story. Shout out to Rosalind Layton from Forbes for also citing many different examples of what's going on in this case. And I hope it only gets bigger, because it has to in order to get the answers. That's going to do it for me. Hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below, share with somebody you know, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. We're just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot more to look at here. Check out all the links in the description and comment box. They are trusted, vetted links of products and services I use each and every day. I will catch you on the next one.